Imad. How do you say your last name, Imad?
Jbara.
Jbara. Where's that from?
I'm half Lebanese, half Moroccan.
Lebanese.
So the Jbara is Moroccan, the Imad is Lebanese.
Who's Moroccan in Cleveland?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Is he from there?
Yeah. Well, born and raised
What about your mother?
Lebanon.
Is she from there?
Yeah.
Dude. Wow. Where are you from?
Was born here, man. Mom brought me here, had me, then 6 months later, took me back.
But where were you born?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, Little Boston?
Not at all.
Eatontown?
I mean, listen, I loved it, but like, it's cold.
And the most remote place, he was born like over there.
What? Hell.
It's
It's a good mix. You got the suburbs, you got the city. I love it. It was a good, but I mean, now at the end of the day, it's too cold.
Yeah.
Boston is a lot
You
better.
can golf year round here. Well, actually, in the summertime, it's a little too hot to go. It's a little too hot.
Yeah.
Right?
By any chance they moved in the time, the boom where all people from Europe or East and Middle East were moving into like northeast side of the country because of the auto industry. Because I lived in Michigan for a couple of years, and there's like what they call the baby Baghdad, as a very small community of Arab people, Middle Eastern people, but it's very known.
In Michigan?
In Michigan, yeah. So I was wondering if that was a time when your parents moved from Lebanon and overseas, like probably I would say in the 60s, 70s.
No. They came here maybe in like early 1990s.
Okay. No, so that was way past.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the entire time, you've been aware of what your parents do. Have they been working the whole time, or is your mom stay-at-home mom, your dad stay-at-home dad, or anything like other mix?
No, my dad used to own a convenience store, and she would come in and help him here and there, but like more of a in downtown.
Boston.
Boston.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your mom do?
Flight attendant originally.
Yeah. That's a tough job.
Yeah.
Did she like it?
She loved it. She did it for Lufthansa. Yeah.
What is
Back in the day.
Lufthansa? So we got to paint a picture for the audience here. So you're here in Austin. You've been here for how long?
Listen, me, almost 2 years. Year and a half.
And what have you been doing since you're here? Like, what brought you here?
Floating the river. Literally, guys. Floating the river is my favorite activity to do in Austin. Came here for 3 days. Loved it. Literally got my lease the month after.
Are you serious?
100%.
Wow.
Because before, so
One float?
yeah,
Was that one float?
I invested in that. I thought he was selling biology on it, and I'm like, no, this guy's serious. No, 100%, guys. Literally, listen. Now you have my Instagram. You will see most of my summer is just in the river. That's it.
It's good for your skin.
It's good for my soul.
Your soul.
That's it.
All right, so business-wise, what are you doing here in Austin?
Floating away.
That's what we're staying in.
It's just gonna go south. I love it.
Well, yeah. So, to my understanding, when you link up with businesses, you help them pretty much 10x their sales. Is that true?
100%.
Yeah, it's 100% true.
100%.
And did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
That's some no crap numbers, dude.
Yeah.
So, but you also have another kind of business, right? Yeah. Phone, telephone, sales, and yeah. So walk us a little bit through that, where you're at in that segment.
Journey, basically I started off as a relationship coach.
Yeah.
Had a relationship coach. Initially I started up for it. It was sexy. I was getting paid $25 an hour to be one of the coaches while my boss was making a lot of money. I didn't realize this existed. I thought you was just, I thought you can make $100, $200 a great relationship coach. Really? I didn't know the industry at all. Yeah. And then COVID hits, and I get this ad from Russ Rufino. It's like Clients on Demand. Yeah. Well, Russ Rufino.
Okay.
One of like the biggest coaches in the space, teaching these webinars.
Okay.
Scale 2 business. He was like, yeah, you can charge $3,000 to $5,000 in this course. And I'm like, that's dope. No one's ever going to do that. Yeah. And then I get in there, and I remember at this point I've had like 4 years experience. I've crushed it with my clients. I'm getting $25 an hour. And this girl never coached a day in her life. Does the system, makes $30,000 in her first month. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what am I missing? I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, my life is like, what's happening? Yeah. So then,
Rightly so.
Yeah. So then I learn the system, and I take it and I basically negotiate with the owner. And I was like, I'll be your operator. I'll build out everything on your dime. But I'll teach, because I don't have money in time. I'm broke. So I was like, let me use
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. So I went, took the in systems, scaled her business 6 figures. And I was like, oh, okay, this works. So then I started my own dating coach company and scaled mine 6 figures. Did it really well. Yeah. So people would pay me $5,000 teach them how to talk to women. Yeah.
You personally?
100%.
Or,
it's funny because, you know, it's listen, I got one right now. I'm a faithful individual, you know, so
what's face look like?
well, what? Yeah. This is what's simple. This I guess not promoting this podcast. I'm not gonna promote it. That's it. You know? Yeah, I'm gonna promote this podcast. You gotta ask me the right question. You know?
Oh, yes, very well.
Yes. Political correct.
As it should be.
Great. So yeah. Basically, So actually, to work with me, and because in New York, she had the biggest dating coach company in person. So people would come to me, and I would go out with them in the club, and I actually had a headset, and I would listen to what they were saying in their conversation, and I would tell them what to say and what not to say. To work with me for a whole week was $8,000 for 3 days. Go out with you, and then you get 4 online calls.
I didn't even know that was a real thing.
Yeah, dude.
No, I've heard of it, but not in that scale in the sense that people really pay that much money. I'm assuming people that do that normally are high-end guys, right?
Yep.
Have a lot of money that don't know what to do with the damn thing.
Well, they have money, but they don't have love.
Love.
And they'll do whatever it takes to get love. That's the thing they're missing in their life. Because, I mean, the whole idea of high-ticket sales is getting to the root core of, like, what are you missing in life? Like, I asked him, like, well, I mean, you want to find the love of your life. What's that worth to you? Oh, it's priceless. All right. Put your money where your mouth is. Well, $5,000 and you get the perfect wife.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. Does that work in the sense they get fulfilling, they say they get married and does the marriage last? Because the last thing that you want to do is invest a lot of money in those girls is just looking for somebody and just tag along.
So here's the thing. There's matchmakers and there's relationship coaches. Matchmakers charge maybe like what? $4,000 to maybe $20,000 to set you up with an individual. And you basically pay up for those, which in my opinion is one of the stupidest things you could possibly do. Because the thing is, the reason why you're not finding a woman is because you haven't developed as an individual. So then you get all these dates, you get all these girls, you pay out for all this money to get these dates, then you still didn't solve the real problem. You're not getting one because you suck with women, not because you just won't find them. So it's like, you have them and now, what? You just spent $5,000 to get rejected again? So it doesn't make sense. So ideally what we do is, and usually like what I would do is I would sell sex and then give them what they need. Sell them what they want and give them what they need. Ideally, the way you get women is by building yourself to be like a high caliber individual. You know, you make good money, you work on yourself, you have good ethics, you have good values, but you also know your purpose, you know your self-worth. People think it's just, saying the right things, flirting, seducing her.
Well, that gets you so far, though.
Exactly.
And that will get you, because I've been there, right? And you know that. I've been there where, I can go out and get laid, but at the end of the day, is that really what I want? Like, you're looking for somebody that has a good caliber or a good head or your shoulders, right? 100%. That's tough to find nowadays.
Is it? Are you shit?
I don't know, depending on where you're looking at, though.
That's the gold. So if you're going to the club and you go to the bars, you try and find women, what are you going to find?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you'll find maybe one that's just like her friends forced her to go out that night, and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. You just happen to be that lucky man that happens to bump into her. She happens to see her true life. I don't know. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So
You remember that?
Yeah.
One time.
listen, all you got to be right. You got to be right once.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, so you had that going. What, are you still doing that wall?
No. So I did it. I mean,
You sell it?
And not really, because it's still run. But what I do is I have coaches under me that I just send them. I gave them my product.
Your book.
Yeah, my book, my whole entire like course.
Yeah.
And they can just affiliate off me. They take it, they train it off me, and I'll pay them.
As you a percentage.
100%. So there's no point in like getting me, because people still come to me for relationship advice. Because a lot of this, if you Google me, everything is just articles on relationship. So everybody sees me as that, and they're like, "Oh, I want to work with you," and I'm like, "I don't want to work. I don't want to do it anymore personally. I hate talking to people about their relationships." So based on that, yeah, it's.
Well, it gets to a point. I'm assuming just because you've been in the field for a while, it gets like tired. you know, you don't want to do it again.
Deep, man. These people are throwing like, it's like business trauma is very different than relationship trauma. Relationship trauma goes deep, like deep.
Yeah.
You know, and at a point you're just like, I'm like a high paid therapist, but obviously I give them practices in terms of like what to do and what to get done. But yeah, no, it was just one of those things where I'm just like, plus also for me, I've done it for 6 years and I fixed every single relationship problem that you can have for a heterosexual couple that you can think of. There's nothing that I haven't gotten other than those like really random, like one-off
Edge cases.
Yeah.
Edge cases is cases that are don't happen often.
Yeah.
That's what we call it in IT. Like you have normal cases, you do your test cases for software, you have these standards, but there's always this little thing that could happen that you decide, well, is it worth coding for it or not? Maybe it's not because it's going to happen once every 100 years, so you're done.
There was one guy that came to me. He was dating a girl for 12 years, and then found out she was married. Last year, the year when he called me, the year before that.
Wow,
Wild.
that's a wild.
That's dark.
Yeah, wild. He's like, maybe I should love my life. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, bro, how she was hiding it? That's what I want to know. I want to take that and make a course out of that. Cheating 101. How to successfully get away with it for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
Can I swear? By the way, sorry, was that cool?
Yeah. Now,
The kids that watch this are tough.
Okay, good to know.
yeah. No, but it gives you a little bit from lighter perspective that, you know, these are weird scenarios that can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So based on that,
Yeah.
did well. And then one of the companies, I remember I had a lot of executive clients. So like I had clients from Google, I had clients from LinkedIn, Facebook. And I remember working with one of my Google execs. And I gave it, he was like, all right, well now I've attracted a woman, everything has worked out. But truth is, man, my sales team isn't listening to me. Well, they're not getting what the results they want. And I seen you just closing people left and right. You closed me for $5,000. He's like, can you give me maybe some tips? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I just took everything I learned from all the coaches I'd hired and just kind of gave them some tweaks, told them to tell the sales team to do that. They did it. And for a company like that, I think they increased their profit that quarter by 0.000 like 1%, which in Google terms, multi-millions. And I was sitting here and I'm like, why'd I charge you $5,000 to give you a fat bonus? And I was like, okay. And I got into teaching sales. So I was teaching sales, and then one of the closers I trained went to work at one of the biggest sales companies in the world. I trained like Tony Robbins sales team, Greg Cardone sales team, Jay Shetty sales team. He then interviewed, they loved him. They didn't work out. They were like, who trained you? Came back to me. They then poached me from my company. And I started working with them. And then, you know what I mean? I worked with them, was one of their top coaches. And then I ended up building out their back end for their B2C. And I took it from like 0 to 1.6 million in 3 months. And the rest has just been history.
Let's talk a little bit about the history. What are you most proud of?
That feat. What was beautiful about that feat is, so when I got put in that position, I had no idea how I was going to do it. And at that point, I think the most I've ever sold was like $10,000 at the highest price point I've ever sold. And I was nervous. So then basically, they've tried to do that thing that I built before, but it didn't work out. They said, we'll do it for $5,000 for a whole entire year, get more sales coaching. But now they want to charge $24,000, and the upside was to work with me. So at that point, I was the highest demand coach. Everybody wanted to work with me and like learn, basically. But I couldn't get any more clients. I think my prime, I had 111 clients that I was working with one-on-one. So then to work with me, you have to pay an upsell. And we were like, all right, well, let's see if people will pay $24,000. I remember February 16th, I remember we just talked about the process, the offer, everything we would do. And then we were going to do a mock call February 21st. I was so nervous that I just decided to just do it without getting on the mock call. And before that mock call, I closed $75,000 in sales. 3 people. In that first, I think 2 weeks, I closed $150,000 for the company. I was like, all right, we're running with this. Nice job. Yeah, and then from there, it's just, more. Making out. Yeah, grew it. Then all the clients that they worked with saw what I was able to do. And they were like, all right, word of mouth. I mean, money doesn't lie. You have, so how did you increase this part of the profit? Like, you went from a company doing literally what? They did $300,000 the whole entire year for that department, and then 1.6 million in 3 months. It's unheard of. And it's funny because I'm not going to name names, but these individuals were titans in the space. So I did it with them, and then I went to another company for another titan in the space and did exactly what he couldn't do and scaled it.
How come you can't name names?
Because NDA, well, the other titan that I scaled, I don't want to name names, but everybody knows him. Let's leave it at that. Everybody in this space knows him, and I'm not the biggest fan. Not the biggest fan, because he took my work and he made a video about it, claiming it as
Unfair.
Yeah, but the company that I was with signed an NDA, so they can't talk about who they work with. But the company that I scaled their business, I can say the name, Cole Gordon, Closers.io. So, damn, they're a high-ticket sales company that they basically outsource for like the biggest sales teams in the world. They build out sales teams. And I worked with them again, phenomenal leader, like great at what he does.
Cool.
Yeah. But the other company, that's the one I can't. Yeah, I do.
Let's throw it way back. Way back. Okay? Because this podcast ultimately is called Pivotal Moments. So we want to touch upon some of yours in your life because looking on the outside in, it seems like you got a growth mindset, abundance mindset, and looking to shed a lot of positivity, which means you're the ideal guest here. And let's talk about how you got there. So you grew up with your parents. You had any brothers or sisters?
Younger sister.
And we had a good relationship with them?
Yep. Love my little sister.
We love her. Where's she at?
London.
Doing what?
School. She's in school college year.
Cool. Where'd you go to grade school?
So I actually, like, for 0 to 7, I was in Lebanon. I grew up in Lebanon with my grandma.
First grade.
Grandma, like, my parents didn't really play a big role in my life. My grandma played a very big role. My mom was a flight attendant, and my dad lived in America when I was growing up. So basically, I was with my grandma the whole entire time.
How did that impact?
I love my parents. I think the biggest thing is I don't like them as parents. You know what I mean? I love them.
Tell us more about that.
I don't really, like, I think for me, my parents didn't play a really big part in my life. And I think most of my decisions I made were because of the influence of my grandfathers. So kind of a little bit about the past.
So that's where you see it important that you have a very strong parent household, right? Because that's how your kids is pretty much reflecting on you when you're small, right? They absorb everything, right? So I can see where his grandmother was fulfilling those shoes. Wow. Yeah. Right.
At age 15, my mom got really sick in Morocco. I was living with my dad here. So my dad ended up going to take care of her. That 3-week trip ended up being 5 years. So I ended up living here by myself, going to school by myself, 3 jobs, going to school.
Yourself.
When he left, I took over the house. I had to go.
How old were you when that happened?
15.
You were 15, so you went from growing up with your grandma till you were how old?
Growing up for my grandma was from 0 to 7.
And then from
7 to 12, that was from 7 to 12, that was the only time in my entire life I lived with both of my parents.
Well, you did?
Yes.
It's 4 years.
For that. What
was that like?
I mean, it was good. My parents didn't really have the best relationship, so it wasn't like amazing. But I mean, it was good. You had your parents. You know what I mean?
How did you respond or react to that environment that you lived in?
What do you mean?
Do you remember what it was like for you being in that environment? Did you have to like act a certain way?
I was very to myself. I was very reserved.
Why?
Because I mean, these were strangers. I lived with strangers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I love them, but again, it's just like I live with a stranger. I was like, I had to do everything when I was kind of to myself, quiet. And
Still feel like that?
Well, parents, I mean, again, like we don't have that, like, I will do anything for my parents. I will like send them money. I'll do all stuff else.
Like that?
100%. But like in terms of like that innocence, like when they look at me, they look at that innocent boy, they don't see him. It's just like they see what business owners see in my eyes.
Yeah, he grew up very fast. He had to. He had no choice.
So, yeah. So, like, when I was 15, I ended up, like, working 3 jobs. Had to go to school, had to pay for everything for myself. I remember losing Wi-Fi because I didn't have internet in my house because I couldn't afford internet. I had to afford rent. So, and then I think I did it for, like, a year of just, like, nonstop. And I'm like, I can't do this. there's too many things.
There wasn't wearing jobs,
Playing soccer,
trying to have a social life.
that didn't exist at the time. I got rid of that.
You paid your own bills?
Yeah.
No help.
They would send like maybe what, $100. I'm living in Boston. $200.
That's
Support.
a week's worth of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything was very soon. And like I think then a year happened, and I couldn't leave because they wanted me to go back to Morocco. I couldn't because I had scholarship opportunities. I had everything in line. So it was like I go back to Morocco and I have nothing, or I stay here, eat shit,
Bite the bullet.
figure it out, and you know what I mean, make something out of myself. I knew it changed, dude. It changed the way I grew up a lot faster than a lot. It's funny because I think this year was the first. I think last year was the first year where I actually like bought everything I wanted as a child. Bought a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I bought like scooters, as you can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bought all the toys that I wanted to play with just to like, you know what I mean, take care of myself. But yeah.
I had that similar face actually. There, my business popped off. I was like, I'm doing
Yeah, you play.
Yeah.
Have fun playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I steal a scooter.
I got a scooter in this year. So I sit in my head every day.
He didn't fall. He didn't scratch himself when he was a kid. Now he's doing it when he's older.
I gotta take it.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah. Wow.
But that story can go either both ways, though, right?
Oh,
because there's people that if they don't have a good sense of will, in my opinion, can go the sour route and be, destructive to themselves because they didn't have the parents that were here to focus in the right direction. But obviously, it seems like he had a good grandmother that kind of, put some good ideas in his head, and that drove him, right? So, but regardless of that, it goes to show you that if you have a good foundation, you can go anywhere. Now, like I said, it can go both ways.
Well, I saw a TED Talk about that, and it was like you're one adult away from your life being completely different. It's so true.
Yeah.
Because like my mom didn't spend time with me, but like I loved her and cared about her. I didn't want to let her down. So like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that stuff. I never did any of that stuff. That's never. But it's like whenever I'm doing something wrong, I think, well, how my grandma view me? Would you be proud of this decision?
Yeah.
And again, don't get me wrong. Like there came a time, like once I think from like 17 to like 22, dude, I lost everything. I'm mentally like shut out. I was like, all right,
We're going to touch upon that in just a moment. We're going to talk about principles that your grandmother gave to you. What kind of sayings do you remember her saying to you frequently, if any?
She would always. My grandma was a very like kind soul. She would always give. She would always help, no matter what. And I remember my grandpa. Like I loved my grandpa. He actually taught me English. He was the only one in our family that spoke English. I was like, you know what I mean? And I would like sit there. He would what
was his name?
Imad.
Yeah. Oh.
My grandpa's name was Imad. And he was also like, and his birthday was 2 days away from mine. So me and my grandma, like my grandma had a very strong bond because I was the firstborn for the family. I'm the first grandson. So like I'm by far the favorite. Everybody, all the aunts and uncles, are jealous. I believe.
Yeah.
But like she literally, like I said, it was like her husband. Like she grew up with her husband. She knew how he thought. So like I grew up with him. So she like is the only human being that can get anything she wants from me, and I won't say anything. I'm wrong all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. I'll take it. Like 2 + 2 = 6. You're right. I'm an idiot. It's no word.
That's pretty cool, man.
You know,
That's special.
she's a good soul. She's a good soul. And
She's here, too.
yeah. Well,
She's around.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Called her this morning.
Yeah.
But my grandpa, my grandpa was very religious, he was Muslim, and he was a pastor, but like I don't know, like imam, but he wasn't like a real imam, but he was like in the community a lot. And I remember he was getting older, and like my grandma would always give him like an allowance because he was getting old, and he would take that money and he would go to like Friday, and he would always just give to the homeless. He never kept it. And he's like, oh, I just lost the money. That's what he would tell her. So you give him more, and he would just always just give. And I would see that, and I would see how they would treat people. And again, like I said, I've had my moments where I wasn't the best, but I would always go back to like those core values of like she was so good. And every time my mom would got mad at me and she would try to like hit me or whatever, my grandma would she would don't you dare touch me. So it was like she was that figure that was protecting me. Always stand up for me. She would always give my parents hell for what they did to me. And I was like, yeah, you deserve the world.
We're sweet.
Dude.
What a nice thing that is.
Yeah.
Not many people can say they had that with anybody.
Yeah.
Not. We think so.
No, just thinking about, I can't remember, it's been a while back, but I heard that a lot of people are, you know how you have your parents and your parents normally raise you. There was a school of thought a while back that what if your grandparents raise you in the meantime that your parents were growing up? Because back then, you got to remember, most of those parents were married very young, 17, 18, 19, they couldn't figure it out, right? They're trying to figure it out themselves. They have now these 2 kids or 3 kids, and then they struggle raising these kids. But there was and I can't remember where it came from, that maybe if the grandparents raise the kids, and then when the parents are in a certain age that they can take over, then they take over, right? So that cycle would be kind of like not interrupted. And so it's kind of a handover. Okay, I gave your kids the fundamentals, their base morals, and then you take them when they're growing up and financially and make them go to school. That's your responsibility going forward. So I heard that many years ago, and that might be a possible alternative for people that are struggling raising their kids. They can't do it.
They should consider that.
Yeah, they should consider that.
It's a valid alternative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You said you had a dark patch.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. What was the catalyst for that?
So growing up, I was very religious.
You were?
Super religious. Well,
What kind?
Muslim. I was Muslim. And I was one of those super it's funny because I remember I was like, I think 16. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she kissed me. Freaked out, broke up with her. I'm like, kissing now. She's gonna want to try to take my virginity. Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was just it was just bad. I was just like, nope, don't want to do any of that stuff. And then I remember during growing up, I literally senior year, I remembered had the love of my life, at that time.
In high school, senior
High school senior year, you know what I mean? Love of yeah, love of my life.
Yeah, for all. That's right.
It just hits, I remember being a junior talking to the prettiest senior at the time. Prettiest senior. She's well, that's the thing. But I didn't think I had a chance.
Right.
I was just she was a soccer team captain. She was a good Christian girl, very pretty, everything. Every guy wanted her. So in my head, I was I remember asking her as a joke to go to prom, and she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, all right, cool, amazing.
Well,
and I remember ended up getting with her or whatever, and just being dating, do you know what I mean? Dating her, yeah, being, yeah, not because I was so wholesome at the time. Getting with her, you're right. I gotta be that big. Cool. Nothing haram as nothing haram. Again, respect. Yeah. I remember her graduating, and I was senior. I remember this all happened.
what's the girl's name?
Come on. 20 years ago. Yo, listen, all these questions, after this, I got you. We'll sit down and have another podcast. I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you name, tell you everything. But people that know me are going to know her name.
I'll look at your yearbook and go to Charlotte Catherine of
Soccer team. That's what it is. And I remember senior year, she went to another country to go to school, crushed. So, all this happened in the same amount of time. Yeah. I remember we broke up. I was heartbroken. Perfect girl in my eyes, everything. I remember I had a scholarship for engineering at I was going to be an aerospace engineer with a master's accelerated program. I got a full tuition scholarship, but I didn't realize full tuition only meant full tuition and not room and board. So I sold for $20,000. Nobody was going to take a risk on an 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid that lost his parents that didn't, No one's going to take the risk on me to give me a loan or to be a co-signer or whatever. Yeah. I remember losing that, and I remember tearing my ACL and losing another scholarship for soccer. So I lost her, I lost my scholarship, and I lost everything. And I thought in my head, and I got mad. I was like, I do everything right. Yeah, I pray, I give back, I help everybody. I don't have any bad intention. And I see all these people that are doing all these wrong, just keep pointing at life. And I was like, I hate this. And then I remember just sitting there one day and I heard this quote. After I tore my ACL, I was literally in bed trying to, doing the physical therapy, just miserable. And I heard this quote saying, I called God, but nobody answered. And I heard it, and it just crushed me. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm like, yeah, that's me. I've called, I've talked to him, and he didn't want to answer. Cool.
Who wrote that? Cool.
I don't know. It was like in the moment. It was like I tried to call. I tried to talk to God, but he didn't answer.
Yeah.
And then from there, I literally just spiraled. So then I went and I literally went to prom, lost my virginity at prom, just to like. And at the time, my girlfriend wanted to have sex, didn't want to do anything because I just, I did everything out of spite. And I was
What did you do?
well, had sex. I think I smoked weed.
Weed?
You know what I mean? I drank. I mean, I tried alcohol. I did like literally. I just went down. I was like, yeah. I went down dark path. And at the time, I was really good at communicating. I was really good at not that I got caught. Again, he asked the worst question. You know, I'm about to go back. I'm like, all right, he's going to jail. Or like, yeah.
Calling off right now.
That's what I'm trying to like, you know, no, but
Get deep.
That's me. I know. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. So you're doing all the things that you were taught, raised not to do.
yeah. And at the time, I remember like I was really good at talking because I had to survive. I could finesse. I had to lie to the cops. I had to, lie to my administrators because I was living by myself.
A lot of the cops.
I was living by myself when they would come and like check in and do like. Cause I remember one of my neighbors called once to like have the cop, and I remember getting in there and just like talking to the cop and just being like, oh yeah, my parents, and I would have this elaborate excuse of just like how they're gonna be back, and I would always figure out a way to like never answer the question. So I got really good at like manipulating. Now I call it influence.
Manipulation, influence.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, but initially it used to be manipulation because I would get what I wanted from people. I was so good at talking. Studied all this stuff. I learned it, and I learned from the dating books.
How else did you study? Well, other than the dating books, how else did you study?
Dating books led to psychology books, which led to business books, which led to the growth happen, and it led to spiritual books. So again, did that, hurt a lot of people, especially girls, man. Hurt a lot of girls I was with. You know what I mean? Emotional abuse. You know what I mean? But I was just I was never physically I was more of like emotionally like I would be angry. Yeah, I was resentful, but I never like, it was one of those things where I would like gaslight a lot. I would, for what? Protect myself. I couldn't get close to girls. So a lot of girls that were good, like they were good girls, I would like make them fall in love with me and leave. Make them fall in love with me and leave. To protect, you know what I mean? Because that's all. Because I never trusted anybody who was going to stay. My parents left when I was really young. And I didn't realize this until actually a couple of months ago where I was like, a couple months ago, I was like, growing up, my parents were never there. Like my parents were literally from 0 to 7. That was my grandma.
You had this realization a couple months ago.
Yeah. Because where were you? These are things that you don't really, because
the thing is, you just take it as normal life. You don't think about it, right? Until maybe a pivotal moment in your life, something like kind of changed.
15 is when my life started. My eyes, 15 is when my life started. I didn't even think before that it had an impact on it.
Your eyes?
My 15 is when my life started.
Oh, you hear him say his eyes? No. Am I tripping?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, after 15, that's when my life started.
Yeah.
So like when that happened, I didn't think anything. I didn't think before that an influence, because that was the big moment that changed my life. I wasn't like thinking about it. Then I thought about it. I was like, holy crap, you've been alone for most of your life. And you push people away because you don't trust they're going to stay. So I've been alone. So it's just,
what were you doing? Where were you sitting? What environment were you in when you had that realization?
What do you mean?
You've been alone for most of your life. Do you know what you were doing? Were you just like hanging out with people or intentionally meditating or?
I was having a conversation with a friend. He asked the right question.
Oh, the rest you're talking with a friend. That's pretty good. Yeah. That's good. Oh, yeah. What did that do? Once you realize that? Roll off from ball?
I mean, at this point, like I think I'm very self-aware. Like I know my life.
Yeah.
I know where I'm good. I know where I don't. And I can watch myself in terms of how I operate. So I don't let my emotions make my decisions anymore. When I was younger, 100%. But now, I mean, it's cool to know.
Do it.
Yeah.
So you're living in the trenches. You're doing all the dirty deeds. 100%. Grandma would have gotten upset about it.
100%.
How'd you pull yourself out of that? Seriously.
How deep are we getting? How deep are we getting? That's a real whole point. Okay. So I remember graduating college, And when I graduated college, I moved to New York. So when I moved to New York, I was pursuing, fast forward in college, everything I've done has been as a joke. So me being a dating coach started off as a joke. Me being, and then I did professional modeling and acting for a little bit as a joke again. But it did really well that I got a signed agent in New York City, so I moved to New York City to pursue it full time. When I went to New York at the time, I had no job, no money, no anything. And I was sleeping in Central Park. And I remember this guy took me in. And I remember when I lived with him, I remember my parents, my dad took out a massive loan in my name during college. And I thought it was all paid off. And I felt guilty for those I helped them. Yeah. And I remember getting a letter when I was homeless, broke, had nothing, saying I owed 6 figures worth of money. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, at the point, don't have family, I don't have anybody, I don't have support. I literally have been fending for myself. I'm tired. I'm tired of 6 years, 7 years, I'm doing everything that you could possibly do to succeed and still failing. And I remember leaving that day and going New York, going to one of the parks, and I was on a cliff. And I was just gonna jump. I was like, fuck it, I'm done. Yeah. I'm like, I am this debt, I have everything, my life sucks. I hate everything about it.
Wow.
100%. And I remember this guy, and it's funny, till this day, I think it was one of those angel guardians that just comes in. He comes, walks right behind me, and he just whispers something, and he says, that bad, huh? And then keeps walking. And it
that was a wake up call.
Oh, dude, it hit. It was like an ego. It hit, and I got goosebumps, and I just sat there, and I was like, he just devalued the hell out of what I'm going through. He just said I'm being a bitch. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I'm gonna take the easy way out. And I remember I was angry, and what I did, because I was so lonely, I remember it was during the time of Valentine's Day or whatever. I remember going to CVS and getting a lion teddy bear, just so I can hold it at night and have something to love. And that thing stayed with me, and that thing stayed with me for a while, because that would be every time I would go through, I would look at that teddy bear, and I would hold it asleep. I slept with it every single night for 3 years, just to be able. And I remember that after that, I got a job at Equinox, to you know what I mean, just started making money again.
So plus,
well,
just get a social network going.
100%. The gym people. I needed to make some money. So I stopped worrying about other people. I stopped depending on anybody else, and I was like, I'm the only person that's going to take myself out of it. I think what hurt, I think the hardest realization that a human being can experience is when you're younger and ignorant, you just think life is going to change. When bad things happen, you're like, no, it's just the current. Life is always going to work out because you're ignorant. When you become self-aware, you realize that life is only going to change. That is a very tough pill to swallow. When you realize that, you're like, damn, things aren't going to get better.
If I don't put the work in, nobody will.
Things are not going to get better. But when you're ignorant, things just magically get better because you're just operating from a place of bliss or whatever. You're like, whatever.
I think that's what's going on. We talked about it in other topics and other podcasts, is the new generation thinks like that. Nothing's going to happen. Everything's going to turn on, and they're not willing to put the effort in, put the work in. And that's what life is about, is you have to put the work in order to get the results that you want. Yeah.
And like I said, switched up. After that, I remember started learning about Buddhism, Taoism. I think I learned about Abraham Hicks, then Conversations with God.
Those 3 books you did.
Great books. And that started slowly but surely breaking me out of my thought patterns. Yeah. And then And then I discovered the Hermetic Principles. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, the 7 Hermetic Principles. So basically, they're the 7 universal laws of the world operates. So when have you heard of The Secret? Law of Attraction?
Yeah.
So the problem with The Secret and how it's pitched is they only give you one of the 7 principles, which is the law of vibration. Everything vibrates at a specific frequency. The reality is there are 7 principles, and the way to manifest is to incorporate every single one of these principles. Like the law of mentalism, the law of cause and effect, the law of vibration, the law of correspondence, the law of gender, the law of rhythm, the law of polarity. You play with all these together, you understand these, and then you create the life that you want. When I started understanding that, I started incorporating these in my life, and I started strategically moving around those principles. And then slowly but surely, my life just started getting better and better and better. I started making more money. I started believing I could make more money, which then slowly got me out of my rut. then COVID, I remember COVID hit, and that was the first time I ever actually made money because I was getting the unemployment checks. I remember getting $600 a week, most money I've ever made. It was so much money. COVID hit 2020.
Like, so you were able to get out of that free money very quickly then.
Oh, dude, it was a saving grace. I remember making 600. I remember the first month I made like, I think, what, $2,400, and I felt like I was a millionaire. I went to Trader Joe's and I bought a steak, and I literally got like a wine glass and I put Minute Maid fruit punch, and I was like just drinking it like I was rich. Literally, I don't know how people complaining. $600, you could do so much with it. From being so broke, having nothing, I literally started eating like I was a millionaire.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? I cooked it with like I'll show you my apartment after this. Like, it was like shit. In the hood of Jersey City, in the hood. I lived in a very dangerous street, like extremely dangerous. But I was social, so I knew the kingpin. He loved me. I would always respect him, show my respect and everything. He was like, just stay away from him. And I was like, all right. Everybody knew to leave me alone because I built that good a relationship. But it's funny because during that time when I was starting to kind of like make that transition, I started making money, $2,400, guys. Big deal. All right, big deal. I'm a millionaire. No, honestly, guys. It's a steak. Steak, Kool-Aid, baby. That's it. In a wine glass. Don't forget the wine glass. In a wine glass, bro. Oh, come on. And I remember that's when I discovered Russ Rufino, and I started getting into the digital marketing. I started realizing you can make a lot of money by just changing your mind. And I would do this walk. I would walk from the hood to the border of like Jersey, so I could see New York City. And I would make this walk every day. It was like, I think, an 8-mile walk from back and forth. I would make it I'd wake up every morning and I would make that walk. And I would go and I would just stare at New York City. And I would be like, to nice houses. And I would just sit there and be like, one day, when is going to happen? And I would do it every single day. And I was talking to my landlord and he said, that's a very psychological walk. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Called you out, huh?
And he's like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, dude, you're going from rags to riches every single day, physically. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. I'm literally creating that. And I would come back home, and I remember I would like, it would be 12 and I would close my windows, close the shades. I would like put my headphones in, close my eyes, and I would just dance like an idiot to music, just feel good, thinking I'm rich, all because of that $600 check that came in. And I started like just feeling it, believing it. And then slowly but surely doors just started opening up. You know what I mean? You know, and then obviously more to it, but we'll talk.
Yeah. That's the act of making your dreams come to life.
Yeah.
Like dream setting. Like let's say you want to buy a Ferrari. Like, you go to the Ferrari dealership, sit in it, feel it, right? Make it visceral.
True story. What happened to me today? Right? I know this guy for a little while at the gym, right? And see, hi. And he was leaving the gym and I was coming out and say, hey man, how's it going? And it's like, you have a 458, right? He's like, oh yeah, I did. We started talking. He used to live in Michigan too. So he's like, next time I'll pick you in the Ferrari, we'll go out and you'll drive the car for me. I'm like, that's how you make connection. Just like that.
Cool.
Just like that, dude.
Yeah, easy.
Easy.
Man, that's gonna be fun.
I'm like,
The heck?
and I'm like, okay.
Wow. I'm doing that yesterday.
Today, this morning.
Oh, smart.
This morning.
Oh, good day, bro.
Yeah.
You gonna buy a Ferrari?
Huh?
You get a Ferrari?
Thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
I'll be there.
Maybe.
Let's go.
I'll be with you. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah. By the time you got that first check and to where you're at today, what was that time span?
So 2019, I made $18,000 in the whole entire living in New York City. $18,000 whole entire year.
You'd say you can live, but not really, for 18 grand.
I mean, live. What's the quality of life?
Okay.
My rent was $500. In like, again, the hood, in like, it was a nice box.
It was a nice box.
Not a nice box, but like a big room. It was
Yeah.
Big room floor. Cockroaches.
All right. Yeah, we get it. All right. So, it's like we're cut above.
It was so weird. We can say it like that. But it was like that. I wouldn't do it now. Not at all. Nowhere close.
18K.
18K. And I remember 2020, I made the most money I ever made, 37K.
2020.
Yeah. And then I think 2021, we had 150.
Honestly,
And then I've just been like doubling,
triple.
And now I can't even imagine making 150. Something. Well, it's funny because when I was living in Jersey City, I was telling myself, I'm like, all I need to do is 4K. 4K a month, then I'll be happy.
Yeah,
That's it. Now, bro, dude, 4K is my rent.
it's your rent. Yeah, downtown.
Yeah. It's a different mindset when you, I think I was talking to some of my friends a while back, is like you associate yourself with people that are, successful, but then you forget about that there's a big portion of other people that are not making it, and they make, probably less than $1,000 a month. They're struggling, but you don't see that because you're in a different environment with different people. And I don't know how people are aware of that, right? Because one of the studies is that the average income in the United States for a male is like $54,000. And the average, yeah.
What? Wow. And then Kevin Samuel, like this dating coach, he's like, look, man, you're an average-looking woman. You're a 5 out of 10, and you want a man that's making 100. That's double. You're telling me that you're twice as good than what you deserve, or something like that. So ruthless today. But it's average. Yeah,
Listen, a guy's not gonna bust his ass off to settle. That's what I tell my relationship. I'm very blunt in my relationship. I'm like, listen, I had a conversation with the girl I'm talking to. And
you're talking to.
Oh, she's my girlfriend.
You sure?
It's gonna happen soon. Okay, again, there it is, for the world to know. All right, you get the first one. Man. But it's funny because she talked to me a couple of days ago, and this would be like the click where you like take it for like real. Yeah. She asked me, she was like, so like, would you be okay if I got fat? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't be attracted to you anymore. And she was like, wait, what? And I'm like, 100%. I'm like, listen, I think your personality is phenomenal. I think you have a great personality. Yeah. But I think a big part of it is because you're also attractive. There's no way in hell I would have dated you if you just had a personality. Not at all. I'm like, listen, I busted my ass off. I could have had personality before I did all this stuff right now. I'm in a very different place, and I'm like, take it however you want to take it. I'm like, I don't want to settle in any aspect. I want to wake up every morning and be happy that I'm looking at you. That's the reality of it.
Well, and the other thing is men and women look at relationships and it's different. Like, we are very visual creatures. Women are not. Women more is ear, right? What can you say to her? What can you convince her? I'm not saying that she's not going to be attractive physically, but she looks for other things that we don't. It's not also not to say that we don't, take in consideration kindful or respectful, all that stuff. But men as men, if we don't like that, let's attract it. We're not gonna go there. Dude, it's just reality, and that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people.
100%. I mean, it's effective. Yeah, it's enough. So I should have a level of find it out. Oh, it's something. We just don't wait. You know what I mean? And like I said, well, obviously, like, I'm not gonna just leave you. Like, we'll talk about it. It's a conversation we'll have. Like, hey, listen, honey.
Yeah,
you
got an issue here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start tying my shoes, but you got out. I'm just going for a walk.
Yeah. Why do you have your bag with you? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's not a gym bag. Don't worry about it.
So I'm assuming for a lot of guys, and maybe I'm talking more for myself, is when I'm looking for somebody, I'm looking for somebody that has similar qualities in mine. Not the same, because that would be, but let's say I like to work out. I like to do physical things. I want somebody that likes that, entertains that too. Because I don't want to be in a spot where I have to tell my other half, oh, by the way, you have to work out, because if you don't work out, you get fat, or you don't do this, you know what I mean? So in my opinion, is look for somebody that kind of does something like similar activities at yours, that's what you have in common, right? Everything else can be managed, can be negotiated, if you will. But there's certain keys that we talked about the other day, is like, if I see a girl that smokes weed, I'm not interested in that. That's not me.
That's going to take you down the rank.
Yeah.
Drop to a zero.
Yeah. So I would just say that for a lot of people, is just look for things that kind of are compatible with you and something that you're looking for. So for me, an example, mom.
That's a big one.
Yeah. My uncle growing up would always say that.
Yeah.
He said, you got to look at the girl's mom, because that's what she's going to look like.
It's true. It's true. It's like, yo, but money keeps people beautiful. Money keeps people beautiful. Yeah. And it's not just like cosmetics and Botox, like literally just eating the right things, having the right treatments.
Yeah.
They go a long way.
Yeah, dude. Money keeps people beautiful.
That's the quote of the video.
Oh, yeah.
It's the quote of the podcast. Money keeps people beautiful. Have you seen Cristiano Ronaldo before he made money?
Look at the nerd.
Yeah.
Skin. I saw a picture of him today.
Dude, teeth all messed up, everything. It's just like, fix it all up. Everything, dude. Everything. Man's gorgeous now because like he's like, hey, fake perfect teeth, everything is just like dialed in.
Yeah. Wow, I'm thinking about how I looked 4 years ago before my business popped.
Yeah.
I look way different now. I'm a stud.
Yeah. It's the confidence, that's all it is. The confidence. For all it is, bro.
You're like, yeah.
No, but
all right. It's like a 3.5. You were a 2, and now you're I'm like, I'm right there with you, bro. Yeah. Money makes us happier. I mean, not happier and like more attractive.
So, what does the future hold for you? Okay, because you had, holy smokes, like a lot of trudging through the muck, for lack of a better term. The majority of your life, it seems like, okay, bright future ahead. I'm sure you have a lot to look forward to. What does it look like? Well, if you could paint the ideal picture.
Honestly, Nat, I told my friend recently, if I got hit by a car tomorrow, I'm completely fine. I lived my best life. I did in these past 3 years, man. I made more money than I made in my entire life combined. You know what I mean? And I was able to do like some insane things. Even when I was like still younger and broke, I still was able to live my life with that freedom. I did everything I did. I tried everything. I put myself in the right places. I was still connecting with the right people. I wasn't making money, but I was still living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Vicariously through them, but also being part of the experiences. For me, man, I have one more big goal that I don't really share often, but I'll share it today. If I do this, literally, I can die the next day and be happy.
This is gonna hold you accountable.
Well, it's happening one way or another. Like this is not like one of those things. Like this is just it's a time. So my big goal is I actually want to open up an orphanage school. You know what I mean? In a third world countries, mostly like a Arab country. Cool. Where basically kids, I want to be that like one adult away from being successful. You know what I mean? Get the kids that didn't have their parents, didn't have their family, that were put in the same situation as me, but also give them the tools that I never had. Give them the resources, give them the abilities to actually have the connections,
Who do you know that's done that in the past? It's erected a school.
It's a couple people, I mean, but not that I know personally.
Yeah.
Not that I know personally. I know one person, but they didn't build it. I know one person that we discussed it, but it was like, I think a year ago. But it wasn't, but he was part of the organization that built it. He didn't actually be the one to build it. I think that's one of the big things. Right now, like I'm very connected in the space. I'm connected with a lot of sharks, like a lot of sharks, and I have a lot of funding and a lot of money. Looking 100%. And that's one of the big things where it's just like, I'm looking to cash in my favors 5 years from now. 5 years, I'm gonna have this done. This is gonna happen. But now I'm just building my connections, helping people get to where they need to get to. And again, this is not like, oh, you have to do this. Like, no, but it's just like, hey, it's a good cause. Yeah.
How much does it cost to build a school?
$300,000 to $500,000 in a third world country.
To the 500,
and then to like maintain it, maybe like a couple hundred BKs. Come on, yeah.
So interesting.
I mean, it's not like a crazy like. Not gonna cost millions, but obviously, like as it gets bigger, we're gonna be adding more things to it. But ideally, that's kind of like the main vision. Once that happens, again, I literally have like nothing else to live for. Maybe kids, family.
So the school will be tailored to young adults that want to have a career in blue-collar kind of jobs, or what's the aim?
Skills. Only training skills. So, like, I mean, math is great and all, history is great. I don't give a damn about that. Construction, piping, that.
So, Michael, was it?
Michael.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing right now, right?
Showing you what it's like.
Yeah, he's got something going on where he's trying to bring these kids that, came from a poor family or not, but they don't want to go through the trade of being an engineer or a doctor, but they want to do the trades. You know, they want to do the plumbing, the house construction, the electricity, the welding. Welding pays big time, right? I don't know if you heard about underwater welding. That's one of the most lucrative careers, but it's very dangerous. But what pay? You know, you can go out of there one night, one day, and $100,000 one go.
Yeah. Well, see, but that's the thing. That's just part of it. Being an electrician, but like, how do you have an electrician company? You know what I mean? The idea is not just to be a trade; it's to be a business owner. I want these kids to be millionaires.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like for me, I built the skills now to make millions. Why not train the kids? You know what I mean? How like there's, I think for me the way I look at it is as long as somebody knows marketing and sales, they're set.
Yeah,
literally.
We talked about that on our podcast. That what they don't teach in the schools is finances.
Dude, yeah. Well, how about that too, right? I don't personal finance.
Yeah,
Board credit.
yeah.
Because they don't. Schools don't teach that.
You know, like there's gonna be ideally what I'm gonna focus on is finance, how to do your taxes, how to save money, how to use it the right way, how to like invest.
Yeah.
Marketing. I'm gonna teach sales, and then I'm gonna have like.
Should we give me some psychology stuff in there?
That's not a bad idea. That's good.
Help just talk with people.
That's cool. Social skill, washing, public speaking. Yes. See, all these things you teach a little kid, they're dangerous. They're lethal.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, but
Imagine if we were taught like that as kids, like.
This is how you deal with the real world.
Yeah.
Forget about all this nonsense and mouth.
Yeah. No, there was a TED Talk. There was a TED Talk where it's like, we train our kids to be reserved. You know what I mean? Like, remember when you're a kindergarten, all the kids put their hand up. Me, I want to answer. Then second grade, 4 kids. Then 5th grade, 1. It's because like the social construct is basically like, if you get this wrong, you're going to be reprimanded and you're going to be humiliated in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's not encouraging. I want you to fail. I want to encourage every single one of my students to fail. I don't want right answers, only wrong answers. Be okay giving a wrong answer. Be okay failing.
Failure's great. Quitting is.
I failed.
Great.
I failed my way to success.
Well,
Failed everything. I built so many businesses. I had a nonprofit in college. I wrote my first book in college. It failed. You know what I mean? Technically failed, but like I did all these things in college and they all just failed. Like, I mean, you guys see me right now, but I was always an entrepreneur. I just didn't make money. Always coming up with ideas of doing different things. You know?
yeah. Like Edison's like, well, made like 1,000.
10,000.
10,000. And then, boom.
There it is.
Here it is. So who is one person that you want to talk to that is still alive, that you have not had a conversation with yet?
Good question. There was this billionaire that he's an angel investor. It's like
Robert Kunt.
I would love to talk to him. Only because I see a lot of similarities in him that I see in myself. Because he's very smart in terms of how very stoic. And I think that's what I love about him. He's not an emotional.
Yeah.
He's very not emotional. And I respect that so much. And I want to like learn, because I want to hear his journey. I want to hear like, I've read his book, I read all his stuff, and I've seen it, I've heard his stuff, but it's like, I want to get into his brain. Like, all right, what can I do to put myself in the place to like follow in similar footsteps, not be like you, but
Where she live?
Well,
Where she live?
California. I think California. Yeah, California.
Yeah. Let's put that into the universe. Dedicate him a connection. What kind of legacy? Let's say somebody in your family or close circle is going to watch this episode in 100 years from now. What kind of message do you want to send to them?
That's a good one, man. Makes you think. There's a lot of important things you can say, but ideally, I have been extremely successful. I've made most of my money because of my network. And the biggest thing that I like am proud of myself about is how much value I give before I ask. In life, just give as much as possible. Yeah, always for free. No matter what, give. That's it. Literally, I have helped make so many 100,000-aires, so many millionaires for free, just because of like. And I remember having a conversation with one of my friends recently. He was like, He's like, why do you do so much? Why are you helping me so much? I'm like, because I see me in you. And honestly, I need more neighbors.
That's it. Plus, sometimes pay it forward, right?
As much as you can, pay it forward.
I want to be the guy that
You got to take care of your bill.
of course, but I want to be that guy that I didn't have for myself.
Yeah.
Everybody, when I was growing up, people were mentoring me. They always took. It was never like, I feel like it was always like, they're only going to give me as long as I bring value. And I mean, that's everybody in the world, but I want to give you without you bringing value. And if you bring value, amazing. But if you don't.
Yes. I read a book, Give and Take. You have givers, you've got takers, and you've got matchers. The majority of the population is matchers. So like, I'll do this for you and I'll expect you to do something for me. The takers of the world are like the CEO of Enron, for example, was labeled as a taker. There's like Bernie Madoff. And, those guys never make it. And then the most successful people in the world, although they do need to be careful, are the givers. The people that just give no matter what, that do it relentlessly and don't expect anything in return.
100%.
And you adopted that mentality.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, literally all of the money I've made is because I've just been, like, the companies that brought me, that poached me, the companies that work with me now, referrals, pay me a lot of money. And again, it's just because I've given free advice and that works for nothing, They just remember you. People remember when you do good by them.
And that is putting people over profit.
Money always comes. Relationships are significantly more valuable.
Money is a byproduct of success.
Money is a byproduct. The real gold in life is the relationships and connection.
Yeah, networking.
100%. I think there was a moment where it was like, I could betray a friend and make a fat check. And I was at a crossroads. And I didn't. I said, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm good. They're like, are you something I'm good? Because they wanted me to leave something that I was building with somebody else as a competitor. And they were going to pay me a lot of money. Like, insane, life-changing money. And I said no, which is funny because when I did that, what I was able to build with my friend was significantly more valuable then. And if I took that route, that company would have lost. Yeah, I would have lost everything. And I wasn't even the intention was I have integrity. I don't bite the hand that feeds me. I don't screw people. I try my best. I might screw somebody by accident without realizing it, but I don't screw people intentionally. And I don't like I'm telling you right now with the company I'm with, I have a lot of people trying to but I told them, like, hey, we're on a mission. I'm going to help you build your mission. Until that's done, you still got me. You don't have to worry about me leaving or whatever. Those are just my values personally.
Well, those are part of the foundation. We talked about it earlier in the conversation.
Yeah, man's life is built off of the principles embedded in this foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to your younger self if you could talk to him today?
Upgrade. Get Arizona instead of Minute Maid. You know what I mean? You're gonna make it back. That's it, dude. Oh my God, it's wild. If I can go back and talk to my younger me, I'm like, yo, dude, just chill out. It's gonna work out, I promise. And there was this meditation I would do where I would talk to my older self, and I would see younger me, kid me, 13-year-old me, talking to 20-year-old me, talking to 30-year-old me, talking to 45-year-old. And right now, guys, mark my words, but I'm in my 40s, shit you not, I'm gonna be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not even I just leading some of the biggest corporations in the entire planet. This is just the way my trajectory is going. I see it. Before it was oh, this is a dream. This is now. It's just I see it. It's not a joke anymore. You've seen it created so much. You've seen the value you bring to the world, and it's just so now every time I talk to my older self, I'm talking to that CEO. Talking to him yo, how's the view? He's like, yo, it's a great view. It's a great view. My office building has this. You know what I mean? I got this in my office. I got this. I'm literally talking to him this is my office. This is what I like. And where do you go? But yeah, I fly out to my private island sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't really do that too much with the kids. Oh, tell me about the kids. I'm literally having a full-blown conversation with older me. Because that's just, I see it. This is it. But I think the beautiful thing is I would tell the younger me that it's like, there's going to come a point in your life where this is not going to be a joke. It's not going to be, it's going to be your reality. And you're going to see. And this is the moment that I'm talking about right now, where I can tell you guys this and not be worried about, I just told them this. And no, call me in 10 years or 15, 20 years, and I will give you the same exact response. But the actual materialistic needs to prove it.
Power of choice.
100%, guys. I even made it this far. Going from what? Sleeping in Central Park to like living in one of the nicest apartment buildings in all of Boston. Big come ups.
Not about.
Yeah.
And how to get a hold of you?
Mott Speaks on IG.
Mott Speaks.
Mott Speaks.
How'd you come up with that handle?
I wanted to be a public speaker in college. I was a life coach. I remember my this life coaching thing. It was hilarious. I got in. I wrote a book on called The College Cheat. That was my first book, College Cheat Sheet, How to Succeed in College. And I remember wanting to get clients. And our first session, I did it for free. I sat there right there with my client. He was like, I was like, yeah, man. So, do you have any problems in your life? What's going on? He was like, well, this happened to him. Let's talk about it. My first session, horrible. No frame, no nothing. But after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I want to be a speaker. Maybe I want to be a coach. I want to be a new Tony Robbins. And I say Imad Speaks. And just stopped ever since.
Imad Speaks on Instagram.
Yeah.
Any questions for Help Us today? I mean, this has been freaking nuts. We're right.
Yeah. I think we should close it out. I don't have any more questions. I'm with a roller coaster ride.
About the process.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man.
This is exactly why we're here, to dig deep, to talk about the mindset that it takes to get out of the ditch that sometimes we find ourselves in. You heard it here, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Till next time.
Yep.
Cheers out.